There wasn't a single moment when it happened. No fight that crossed a line. No betrayal you could point to on a calendar. No morning you woke up and thought, this is the day everything changes. Just a slow erosion, like water wearing down stone. You don't see it happening. But one day you look in the mirror, and the person looking back at you is a stranger. Quieter than you used to be. Smaller somehow. And you can't quite remember when you stopped taking up space. Looking back, I spent 7 years in a relationship like that. Not dramatic, no villain, nothing unforgivable I could point to. But because it taught me something I had no language for at the time, and that I've never heard anyone talk about honestly. We met when I was 26. I was ambitious then, a little loud, full of ideas I wasn't embarrassed to share. I had opinions I offered freely, dreams I talked about without apologizing for them first. By year 3, I had stopped mentioning most of them. Not because he told me to, he never did. But somehow in the space between us, my voice had gotten quieter. I told myself it was maturity, that I was just growing up, settling into something real, becoming more realistic. It took me 4 more years to understand what was actually happening. The thing about losing yourself slowly is that it never announces itself. It doesn't arrive as a crisis, it arrives as consideration. I stopped sharing certain opinions because they made things tense. Not wrong, just tense. And I decided the peace wasn't worth disturbing. I stopped seeing certain friends as often because he was uncomfortable around them. He never said anything directly, but I learned to read the silence after I came home, and eventually I just went less. I stopped pursuing things I cared about, a course I wanted to take, a trip I wanted to plan, a version of my life I'd been slowly, quietly constructing. Because they required space, I no longer felt I had permission to take. And each of these things felt, at the time, like love. Like I was choosing him. Like I was being thoughtful and flexible and mature. I started checking my own feelings before I felt them. Not, am I okay? But, will this be okay with him? Not, what do I want? But, what can I want without making this harder than it needs to be? And the truly insidious thing about this is that it doesn't feel like loss while it's happening. It feels like being a good partner. It feels like compromise. It feels like the ordinary, unglamorous work of loving someone who has different needs than you do. It is only later, much later, that you look back and realize the compromises were all moving in one direction. That you had been so thoughtful of his feelings for so long that you had lost track of your own. That somewhere in all that consideration, you had made yourself very, very small. The moment I understood something had gone wrong didn't happen in a fight. It happened at dinner, with people I barely knew. Someone asked me what I was passionate about. A simple question. The kind of question people ask at dinner tables when they're trying to be polite. And I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Not because I didn't have an answer, but because I genuinely could not remember what the honest answer was anymore. I sat there for a moment that felt much longer than it was, searching for something, anything that felt true. And what I found was a silence where I used to be. I excused myself, went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror, and I thought, who are you? Not as a crisis, not dramatically, just as a real question that I had been avoiding for years.
I want to be careful here, because what I'm about to say is easy to misunderstand. He was not a bad person. He was not cruel. He did not set out to diminish me. I don't think he even knew it was happening. I'm not sure I did either, until that moment at the dinner table. What happened between us was subtler than cruelty. It was two people with different gravitational pulls, and one of us slowly orbiting the other, until she forgot she had her own axis. There was no villain in this story, which is part of what made it so hard to name, which is part of why I never talked about it, which is part of why I stayed for 7 years. Because how do you leave something that isn't obviously wrong? How do you explain to people, how do you explain to yourself that you are disappearing inside something that looks perfectly fine from the outside? The relationship ended, not with a fight, not with a betrayal, with a conversation, quiet and long overdue, in which I finally told the truth and realized as I was speaking that I hadn't done that in years. Here is what I know now that I didn't know then. You can lose yourself in a relationship that isn't abusive. You can disappear inside something that the people around you would call healthy. And the person on the other side doesn't have to be doing anything wrong for you to be slowly, steadily becoming less of yourself. Sometimes it just requires time and silence and the gradual accumulation of small decisions that each seemed reasonable on their own. The self doesn't leave all at once. It leaves in increments, in opinions not shared, in trips not taken, in friendships slowly let go, in the quiet surrender of wanting things that feel too complicated to want. I'm not telling you this as a warning. I'm not telling you to leave anything. I'm not telling you that your relationship is doing this to you. I'm telling you because I spent a very long time thinking that what happened to me was about him, and it wasn't. It was about the parts of myself I had given away quietly in small increments over years without anyone asking me to. You can get those parts back. It takes longer than you'd expect. It requires sitting with some uncomfortable questions about who you were before and who you want to be now. But I want you to know, if you're somewhere in the middle of that, if you've looked in a mirror recently and asked yourself quietly, who are you? That question is not a crisis. It is the beginning of something. If this story resonated with you, there's a meditation on gentle rivers that sits with the same feeling. Why we sometimes stay in places that are slowly making us smaller. The link is below the